Hello, my name is Yaza Kara. I'm a technology professional currently working as the head of digital transformation at a bank here in Zambia. I'm also a farmer, a co-founder of an association called Women in Technology Network. But most importantly, I'm a wife and a mother. So I think I'll take you back to when I was at university. And I studied, my two majors were computer science and statistics. Interestingly enough, I actually enjoyed statistics more than I did with computer science, but somehow when I entered the job market, I straight away went into IT. My career started really, I was a systems engineer. My work was really going under tables. I used to wear a lot of jeans those days and trousers, so you go under the table, you fix a couple of cables, and that was my work. Luckily, the organization I joined was very young, and I quickly rose as I started having more people reporting into me. And I think in 6 months I was then made a manager. I then moved from that organization, and I think when I then moved, that was one of the most defining moments of my career. I moved into an organization where I was now reporting into a country director, and that was the same as your CEO equivalent. So I was very young. I was 31 years old, and I was given this position to start, a director position really, to start looking after five different team members. They were all over Zambia, and I was reporting into a head office in the UK. So a lot of responsibility at a very young age. But one thing I'll always treasure and actually always be grateful for was that my line manager at the time, the CEO at the time, put so much faith in me and really understood and let me do what it is that I needed to do. And I think that took me forwards and gave me that courage and that confidence to continue in my journey. My career at that point was absolutely technology driven. I was right in the depth of technology. But once I then joined a telco, and one of my role there was again in technology, but also looking at project management. And that's what made me now start looking towards project management. A little bit before that as well, I happened to live and work in Australia, and I worked for Fujitsu in Australia, and that was probably the time that I really fell in love with managing projects. And so that helped me and made me move forward with my project management career and experience. So I worked in telco under that position, and that's what took me into banking. So the two banks that I've worked for, I entered those banks predominantly to look after projects and manage the project management office. Where I am today, my career has taken a different turn. Still very much technology, still very much change management, still very much project management, but also now with a dimension of digital transformation. Digital transformation, for many of us, that's the direction the world is going. That's the direction we are in, even as a country. And what I love the most about my role today is, and I'll use the terms of my title, is really transforming inwardly in order to solution and work with our customers outwardly. So I think that's really where I am in terms of my career and how I got there. So I'll share two, and the first one really is courage. So having the courage to actually do something that you're so scared of doing, where you don't know what will happen. You forget the what ifs and you just go ahead and do it. The second one is knowledge, being able to know what it is that you're going to do first of all, and also have the proper understanding of where it will take you. So be knowledgeable, be courageous, and for me these two have stood out and have helped me along my journey. Again, I'll give two that I think are very important. The first one is being able to pivot and being able to change quickly. And also as you're pivoting, make sure that you're pivoting in the right direction. There's so many things that are changing now, whether you look at whether it's technology, whether it's business models, whether it's our customers as we have different customer requirements. There's so many changes, and you have to be able to pivot and pivot quickly as a leader. The second one is around people. And I don't really like the word people management. I think it's the best way of looking at it is collaboration. Yeah, as a leader, you should be able to walk with your people, not necessarily walk in front of them. And for me, I think that's a very important mindset to have, that you cannot do we've heard it all the time, you cannot walk alone, you cannot do something alone. You need a team, you need people to do this. And that's a very critical mindset shift. You cannot do something without people, and it's about collaboration, it's about communicating properly, it's about having empathy for people. And for me, that's a very important quality for effective leadership. As a woman in technology, I think this is probably a huge cliche, but it's the sad thing is that it's a reality. We are in a totally male-dominated industry. It's difficult even when you're at school. It's difficult when you enter the job market. It's difficult when you're an executive to get a seat at the table. And this is one of the reasons that myself and a number of women co-founded an association called the Women in Technology Network. One of the things we realized is that we all more or less experience the same things, the same instances, the same experiences when it came to being the only woman in the room in technology. And one of the main things we want to do is we want to create and ensure that there's inclusivity. We want to make sure a little girl, a 6-year-old girl, looks at doing maths, doing science, doing those subjects, and not thinking that it's only a boy who should do it. We want to look at the girl at university or the girl at high school, and she realizes that she can actually code and do solutions for her community, for her country. We want to look at the young career woman, the executive in the corporate space, and not always feel as if, why am I the only woman in this room? So these are some of the things we want to dispel. These are some of the things we want to change as women in technology. We also look at things like how to improve digital skills in young women, in young girls, how to have the courage to actually just speak up and sit like me. Believe it or not, I never did these things of sitting up and speaking to people, but I want to do it so that it is not impossible to do. Someone looks at me and says, look, if she can do it, why can't I? So we look forward to the changes we can make as women in technology, how we can change the technological landscape in Zambia when it comes to inclusivity and diversity for our young women and our young girls. So I love to read. I absolutely love to read, and I read almost everything. But I'll talk about maybe 3 books that I've read recently. The first one is The 48 Laws of Power. I think a lot of people have heard about this book, and it's a book that I keep going back to. It's almost like I need to always just go back and read up on some of those laws. So what it talks about how you can gain power, and it doesn't matter whether you're in a corporate world, whether you're a student, or whether you just run your own business. It's a really essential book to read, and it's by Robert Greene. So please grab it and read it. And what I love about the book, it gives real life examples, and it gives situations that are very realistic, and it gives a bit of a history as well. So you're able to understand and really comprehend what the laws are all about. The second book I want to talk about is called No Hard Feelings. It's by 2 ladies, Liz Fosslin and Molly Duffy. I love this book as well. It also talks about how to manage your emotions. I think the world we're in today is really, there's a lot of discussions about mental health, and it's so real. So this book also touches on that. I love this book especially because it has little illustrations in there that almost speak to you. I think human beings were very visual creatures, so when you look at that, it's like the message really hits home. So I recommend that book as well. The third book I'm reading is a book that I'm actually reading right now, and it's a book by Mel Robbins, and it's called The 5-Second Rule. Fabulous book. It talks about courage, and I believe all of us have a moment where we need courage. Whether it's you're in school, or whether you're about to pitch for a business, or whether you're about to just walk into the boardroom and speak your mind. So this is a book I totally recommend. I also follow her on Instagram. She's fabulous. So I recommend reading this book. It's fantastic.